Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to the Council on Future Conflict. My name is Scott, the proprietor of the Future Conflict channel. Today, we've got a great show for you. We're talking the Spanish incursion and Iran War Day 154, because, of course, the Iran War is still going on, like it never stopped. Joe, how you doing today?
You know what? I am almost caught back up on sleep. As you know, when I hold an event, I'm generally the last person into bed and the first person up to make sure everyone is where they're supposed to be, getting what they want, and enjoying their time. That I sometimes am like, hey man, maybe I should slow down and enjoy the event. But uh, got some good sleep finally the last couple of nights. Had a great group of folks doing class up until yesterday, and now there's officially no one here for all of about 12 more hours until some people show up tonight. So, good stuff, man. I had a great time at Mountain Readiness. I really wish more of you had been able to make it.
Yeah.
Uh, we had a good time.
Well, what's kind of fun, I don't know what was more fun, Mountain Readiness this year or us leaning into what we're going to be doing for next year and other events and things like that. So I'm really excited for the future of Camp Ponderosa and the events that we'll be doing
You
there.
know,
So,
on that
uh,
note, let me just say thank you to everyone out there who supported us through this event because we raised over $10,000 for the camp during this event. Some of you, you know who you are, showed up and handed us stupidly large checks, and others showed up and just bought things from us or made donations while they were here. The best story was that was a guy who's been here a couple of times. You know who you are, who just before one of the campfires walked up and said, "Hey, I was here last year and I really enjoyed it. I'm here this year and it's so much better. I know I already paid for everything, but I just felt moved to hand you this check." And that tells me we're doing things right. That pulls at my heartstrings. Especially that was after the introduction of Miss Linda to everyone,
yeah.
and I think that's pretty amazing. So
Well, no, I thought your talk on, I think it was Saturday, right? Where
yeah,
you kind of got up in front of everybody and introduced her, and that's where she did the cake. And I think that was good because that really humanizes that place and lets people know that this is not just a like a facility, and it's not a lot of people think of it as Joe's place, but it's not Joe's place. It's Al's place, right? It's Al and Linda's place. Specifically, Linda is still very active, and it's um, there's a mission, right? And you could do a lot there, but it has to be in service of the mission. And I think when people learn about the mission, I think it honestly touches them. And I think that's really what you saw, Joe, was people getting moved by the people who are directly
hmm
involved in dedicating, a big share of their lives to that mission. And so they want to be part of that. And I totally understand it. So,
I also want to
because
thank Watcher and his Watcher and Watcher's Angels, Sarah and Allie Workman for getting out and making all those pies. They made a whole bunch of pies, and Archangel in blue for doing the cake for Linda. So awesome stuff.
It was
yeah,
awesome.
that cake was amazing. And the
I
pie
still have some, and you don't get any.
and the pie was good too. So I
Yeah, the
mean,
pie the pie did not survive the weekend.
well,
Scott had it for like every meal for 2 days.
well, I won't lie. That was my plan, my breakfast plan every day after Watcher made it. So,
Yeah.
um, but that being said, a lot of people Watcher, a lot of people are asking for that recipe. I got a feeling that fast forward 2 or 3 years into the future, and like there's going to be this weird like pro- like like spread of dirty pie within the prepper community.
We can
Uh,
sell it right here at the camp too.
Yeah, somebody has said it might be a decent idea to put together a book with some recipes in it from some of our
I've been thinking
friends.
this for a long time.
Yeah.
The CFC recipe book.
Yep.
And if
Yeah,
anybody
you know
has
what,
one for thimbleberries, I'd like to do something with all the thimbleberries I picked yesterday.
Joe, it seems like we had a conversation about that almost back when it was Writers Fix Problems. I mean, like,
Yeah,
I
community cookbook would be a great idea.
I won't say that Molly was involved in that, but she probably would.
I think Molly would be a key contributor to that. I think for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, send Blaine a link, will you?
Yes.
Watcher.
Yes. Oops, I forgot to put it in the Big Maniacs chat.
Also, by the way, Charlie the Bear did make an appearance during Mountain Readiness. He was out on the range when we arrived for my defensive handgun class on Monday, and I encountered another black bear last night out picking berries. One thing about picking huckleberries in Montana, bears like them too, and probably more than you do, and they're willing to do a lot more to keep them than you are. But I come around the corner on one of these little back logging roads. There's a bear sitting in the middle of the road. He's got a pile of berries in front of him, and he's just eating them one by one. And he looks over and sees me, and he's like, "Oh crap! There's a human being right there." And he took off into the brush. I did not steal his berries because I chose life.
That's one of those things. Like, despite the fact that bears can kick our ass, 9 times out of 10, they're more scared of us than we are of them.
Well, black bears anyway. Grizzly bears, not so
much. Yeah, that's right. Grizzly bears kind of realized a long time ago, hey, I'm the apex predator in the world.
I could probably eat that, and they probably taste good.
Yeah, it's like I pretty much don't have anything to stop me. So
that dude's got a lot of fat content. I bet he tastes really good.
There we go. Welcome to the show, Mr. Blaine Pardo. Hey, Blaine, by the way, we I don't know if I think this is probably true of Joe, but we talked to a lot of people at Mountain Readiness about your books. And
Captain Dolio was a comment. Yes.
In fact, we might need a couple boxes for the next time just so we have them on hand.
So
well, they'll be the new editions. Let's put it that way.
Speaking of books, you should have got 2 emails last night, and there's a large stack of things on their way to you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we talked a lot about Blue Dawn was a topic of conversation. There's a lot of people who kind of lean into the prepper scene with their books and whatnot. Yours is one of the few that isn't trying to be like a prepper manual, but is just more of a, this is the way our enemy thinks. And so I know I was using it. I think Joe did as well. And it was a good event for all of us. And I think hopefully it'll be a good event for some Blaine Pardo book sales over the next weeks and months to come.
Thank you.
How are you doing, Blaine?
I'm doing good. We're moving publishers over to Wargate to get Blue Dawn back on the list. It's going to have a new introduction for each book, new covers. So a lot of stuff going on there. I'm working on Land and Sea because the game is about to come out via Kickstarter.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Next few weeks. So there's a lot of work that's tied up with that. And I don't know, writing stuff.
Yeah, I mean, these are good problems to have. Problems to have. Speaking of writing stuff and Land and Sea, I need to chat with you afterwards. I'm finally in a place where I can re-engage on all that. So
good.
So we're in a good place now. And it's
called Kentucky.
That has as much to do with a Blaine. Look at my video. It has as much to do with this as it has to do with anything else. So
okay.
You know the implications there. But all right, guys. Watcher, how are you? Now that you're back, you made it. You're a lot. You had a lot less chickens when you got there.
Though more than I was expecting.
Right.
Did good. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. If you are considering keeping chickens and you have the ability to go to T's class on how to properly process chickens, there is not a class you could possibly go to that would be more worth your time, regardless of of how good Joe's, how to build a, how to, regardless of what kind of class Joe adds to the schedule, you need to know how to process those chickens. And the way that T does it is legitimately magic. It will take you from an egg operation to an operation that can legitimately make money by selling processed chickens. It's that magical. Let's see. It was fantastic getting to meet a bunch of you. I love doing that every year. It's probably my favorite part of camp. And well, I mean, it's on you.
If you missed
what I
it,
really enjoyed was Yogi making the sausage and then cooking them up. Yogi is a master with the grill, and knowing those sausages began as a pile of deer and elk meat earlier in the day was pretty cool.
the weekend was very auspicious. We had our whiskey panel. Thank God it's come down because when we get a little on the drunk side, we start saying things that we normally might not. But I can't say it was because I did everything possible to keep people who should remain focused off the sauce. You can't. Watcher, I wish I could say that your exuberance on Saturday night, right? Yeah, it was Saturday night.
Yeah.
Was because of you weren't drunk when that happened.
No.
So you did the face reveal. I think I think the chat really
well, like I said, we're
enjoyed it.
We're about to be knee deep in crayfish content, and I've tried to figure out any way to film myself catching crayfish and doing that kind of stuff without showing my face.
Yeah,
and it's just not going to
I
happen.
want to thank the guys at Bozeman Distillery and Willie's Distilling for providing the whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, we should have gotten with Glacier because I believe Archangel and Blue single-handedly made their sales goal for the year. And and the rest of us are really going to go to town with Montana 1889 from Bozeman Distilling. That was really good stuff. And for everyone in the chat talking about coyotes, I got some news for you. Everyone in America has coyotes. It's not like they're not rare at all.
They're not rare.
My son actually saw one not too long ago in downtown LA.
Yeah, they're in downtown Detroit. They're all over. I mean, coyotes are nothing unusual.
In fact, I think I just saw a news story about how they're taking over a currently being built apartment complex in downtown LA.
All right. By the way, Doug, nice to see you in the chat. I just send me that invoice via PayPal, and I'll get you taken care of, brother. Now that I'm back, before I was here, but I was good and pulled in a million different directions. So after this event, I am now officially back, and I'm not even really looking for work right now because I've got plenty of work to do. So we will move forward on everything at full speed starting today.
Blaine, you're not wrong. It's the Cougars you need to watch out for. Yeah.
Blaine, I wish you.
As a survivor of many a Cougar attack,
Blaine,
absolutely necessary.
I was at the gym already this morning, and they're out in force.
Blaine, for a guy who didn't make it to camp, it's almost as if you made it to camp.
It's almost as if you were there.
Very good, Watcher. Very good. Hey, this time I didn't have any of them jump into side-by-sides with me and try to kidnap me.
There you go.
Some of you were present for that event in North Carolina.
Well,
I wasn't really kidnapped.
All right, gentlemen, let's get it rolling today because we got a lot to talk about. We due to travel and various other reasons, we weren't able to do a show on Wednesday. By the way, guys, I don't know if I told you this. I did tell you my flight was a little delayed. I did not. I was supposed to get back around like 8-9 p.m. Louisville time. It's 10 o'clock Louisville time is when I was supposed to get back. I ended up getting back at like 5 a.m. It was unfreaking believable. I I thought for sure I had missed my connecting flight in Denver, but then I get to Denver only to find that it was pushed back to like 9:30, and then that flight didn't get out of Denver until almost midnight. So it was one thing after another, and but I did eventually get home, as you can see.
Let me address your comment, Hunch. Why do I keep using you as cougar bait? Because you're stinking adorable, and the cougars are attracted to it. But
that's right.
That's true.
It works. It's effective. I don't know.
I mean, we saw proof of that at the camp. I'm just.
I want to talk about a lady in particular from this last couple of weeks, and that's her name is Tina, and that's all we're going to say. Those of you who are here who met her, she came here. She was a little worried, a little nervous. She stayed here the whole time. She gave my classes before, classes after. But she did a phenomenal job, challenged her limits, pushed herself beyond, and then wound up finding a group of people near her, thanks to Fal and Kel and some others, that will help her train. And she embodies why we do this, right? We do this to build community, get people trained, connect people with folks who are like-minded in their area. And by the way, by the time my handgun class rolled around, that woman was a seasoned gunfighter and was darn good at it.
Yeah. This is the lady that if you envision a prepper group, you would just assume that she's going to be helping out in the kitchen and all that kind of stuff. Nope. She could absolutely man the line and put some of the men to shame, I'm sure.
And I'm proud to say she's coming back for some NC Scout classes in the fall, and it was pretty darn good.
Yeah, just one thing, just one plug I want to give before we get into the.
Hey, Watcher, put up that comment I asked you to put up because it's relevant.
The classes that you get from Joe, NC Scout, and a lot of the guys associated with them are about the best buy you can get in the prepper community. You see a lot of these classes out there, and it's like what, Joe, like 2 days for $1,500 or whatever.
Yeah, it's outrageous. Yeah,
but Joe, and it's the price for 2 days is generally around $500, right? I mean,
ours are $500. It's 2.5 days, but yeah.
2.5 days. So, I mean, you're really getting such a great bargain. Like if you're not able to make it out to Montana, because I get it, Montana's far away, and it's not cheap to get there. If you're not able to make it there, Matt's got the G Camp running. Joe will be there in the fall. Joe is also doing a fall training week that Matt will be attending. Joe, you want to real quick? I know we're not at the Tactical Wisdom plug segment, but do you want to go through the fall training?
Yeah, let me talk about this comment first. Despite her typo, it says you haven't lived until you had Bear Proof Huckleberry whiskey. And is there anyone here who disagrees? Who had some this weekend? I mean,
no, it's good stuff.
That was good stuff. It was not officially on the panel, but it was good stuff. Anyway. So yeah, we made the decision while we were out here. Kay was here, and we were on the phone with Matt, and we're gonna shoot a series of classes. Matt's RTO, Advanced RTO, and SIGINT will be out here. Kay is going to teach probably a ground rod and maybe CQB or patrolling concepts, and then I will do combatives and something else around. I'm not really sure what, but good stuff. Maybe another fieldcraft class. But we're trying to get as many classes packed into a 2-week period as we can. So if a guy comes out and he can only take like 8 or 9 days, which is, a week plus the weekends, he can get as much training in as possible. Then there's about a 1-week period between that and when Matt and I go down, I guess it's 2 weeks, when Matt and I go down to his place where we will begin with the scout course, the recce course. In between scout and recce, I'm going to do a 4-hour knife class. And then on the day between the recce course and my community security class, I'm going to do a full day of combatives, unarmed and ground fighting. So there's a lot going on this fall and a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah, that's you're really looking out for the community, I think, with these class schedules, and I think the community is responding. So I think that'll be a great opportunity. And then And then, do we have a date yet next year for the event we just had?
No, because we need to coordinate better with Matt because we'd like to get Matt there. So.
Yeah. So maybe are we thinking it might be in August? You think earlier?
August. It might be the first weekend in August.
I think that can work. It's just a matter of like everything, we just got to put it out there and deconflict with the stakeholders, and I think we'll be good to go. That it will be bigger next year than it was this year. Be careful what you wish for, Joe. You just may get it. All right, let's move on, shall we? Let's get into the odds and ends. So, it's a domestic Friday, so I thought some domestic stuff is on order, despite the Spanish and Iranian focus today. ICE pulled off a slick mass arrest ploy in Pennsylvania today, tricking dozens of illegals into coming to the DMV under the guise of renewing their CDLs. As soon as they arrived, they were rounded up, arrested. That's how it's done. 100%. This is, Joe, this is like the old, people with active warrants sending them like prize notifications.
Yeah.
You remember those old kind of cop stings that they used to do?
Oh, yeah. It used to work like a charm, too, because everybody wants something for free.
That's right. That's exactly right. They show up and then it's just becomes a mass arrest event. It's you love it when a plan comes together. I love it when things actually work like this. And this is exactly the kind of people we need to get out of there. People who are driving these trucks illegal. It's not even like they shouldn't have a CDL, but they do. It's like they shouldn't even be in the country, but they are. Not much less have a CDL. So, this is the kind of thing I'd like to see this in all 50 states, in every big major city in America. I think this is absolutely where we need to be, guys. I'll turn it over to you, Joe, Blaine. Comments.
There is no small coincidence that this happened exactly on the day that Donald Trump announced that he had signed the executive order that all veterans who have ever driven a big truck are automatically qualified for CDLs. He made that announcement yesterday at the White House, and that while this is happening, there is no way that wasn't coordinated, and I love it.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And that's a really smart thing that the president's done. Outside of some some basic retraining or whatever, if you didn't use a trailer, I think that this absolutely makes sense. The trucks that the military drive are absolutely, kind of compatible with CDL kind of stuff. So
not really. They're not compatible with any kind of vehicle ever made. I've climbed into those vehicles. I couldn't start one without, I need 3 arms to start one and 4 hands.
You're talking about like a military truck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of, I know several of you saw the footage of me in a pin scour, which I have on this computer now. Somebody just told me that they're cleaning out an estate in Montana, and there's a deuce and a half involved. And they said, "Would you be interested?"
Yeah.
Interested. The armory at Camp Ponderosa continues to grow.
I mean, we're not. So speaking of, this is, I think, exactly what you were just talking about, Blaine. The next thing in the odds and ends here, because I thought this was kind of a good 1-2 punch, and I'm glad you brought it up. You gave me the perfect segue into the next segment here. This is from Trump War Room. President Trump announces the Freedom Haulers Initiative as we get illegal aliens off the road today. Today, he says, we are also taking action to replace unqualified migrant truck drivers with highly qualified American veterans. All right, so let's listen to
as we get illegal aliens off the roads today, we're also taking action to replace these unqualified migrant truck drivers with highly qualified American veterans. under our brand new Freedom Haulers, we call it Freedom Haulers initiative, any American who has driven a heavy truck for our military will automatically be eligible for a commercial driver's license. And it's good paying jobs too. Any veteran with a heavy vehicle experience from the military will now be eligible to skip redundant road tests to obtain a commercial driver's license. We're going to make it as easy as possible for the veterans within 2 years following their active duty service. And for the veterans where you have a situation where you have not truck drivers in the military, where you don't have truck drivers, they're going to be given a very quick pass. We're going to teach them. They're going to learn. If they didn't drive a truck in the military, but they're going to learn, and they're going to learn very quickly, and they'll be licensed in a matter of a few weeks, I think it is. They're going to take about 3 or 4 weeks of training.
So
There
that's pretty key. The thing that he mentioned there at the end is what really kind of will energize the ranks of, because here's what I found out that I was not aware of. I thought there were plenty of truck drivers and they were just trying to reduce what they were paying American truck drivers by replacing them with way cheaper illegals. But that's not the case. They are hurting for truck drivers.
Well,
Yeah.
again, hold on. That is you're talking about a chicken and egg problem here, because they have been flooding the market with illegal truck drivers before there was a shortage of drivers. The shortage of drivers came after, when the wages fell down due to a flood of illegal drivers being on the market and willing to do it for significantly under the rate.
While I wish
Hunch's $5 addresses this.
Yeah. All right. Let's get Hunch in here. Let's rumble. Okay. So he says, that's great, guys, but it's not going to solve the main issue in the trucking industry. Freight rates are being paid to drivers is too low, and brokers refuse to back their drivers and push for more. Yeah. So I think it's I don't think the illegal immigrants are the egg versus the chicken. I think
that's what creates the churn. That's what creates the churn he's talking about there.
No. Listen to what I'm getting ready to say. I think before you had large scale illegal immigrants, you had low rates from the trucking industry. You had a preference for these larger companies versus the owner operators that were always the kind of the main driver of the truck industry. Back when I was in the National Guard, several of the people that I worked with were all truck drivers, and literally, one was a young kid. He was like 19 years old, and he had just gotten the job for whatever over the road trucking company. And all the veteran guys were kind of teaching him how to kind of like, oh, well, then you need to do this. And you just have to drive for them for like 2 or 3 years. And then you can get a down payment on your truck and blah, blah, blah. And so there was this whole model and how to kind of go from being a novice driver for the big companies to then moving into owner operator kind of status. And then after 10 or 15 years, you've got multiple trucks and you've got, a booming business going for your family. But that model got taken away with some of these, and it's not the people who want to pay for the drivers, the trucking companies necessarily, right? I think that's part of it, but it's also the freight shipment rates, right? Like the actual the rate for over the road freight went down. Let's see. Hunch says no. The big guys wanted to drive rates paid down and destroy the independent. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was this kind of like they wanted to delete the independent owner operators, and the way they did that was through pricing pressure. And then you got to the point where the only people you could get to be truck drivers are these illegal immigrants.
You're missing the other half of this. How do they get the pricing pressure? How do you get a driver that is driving below, like if he's just making the pay that he's making, he's losing money, right? How do you get that on the road? The answer is that the government pays half the wages for all of those illegal truckers because they give them stipends for food. They give them all kinds of various different other things.
Watcher, I think if you dig deeper into this goes back to the 90s, right? This is not an issue of the time. This is a long standing issue, and the immigrants are just a part of it that are here now, right? And it's a problem that we got to get rid of, and it's like everything, right? immigrants have always been part of the meatpacking industry. And the reason why is because they don't want to fucking pay anybody any money in order to do the work, right? They say it's dangerous, dirty, disgusting work that Americans won't do, like picking strawberries. But if you paid a wage that's worth paying, then you could get the Americans, you could find Americans who would do that work.
If I can offer just a counterpoint,
go ahead.
I think that this program isn't trying to solve the problem of the trucking industry and its staffing. What it's doing is removing an entire segment of jobs that illegal immigrants can use.
Correct.
That's what this solves. It doesn't fix any of the real problems in the industry. And at no point, by the way, in his speech did he say this is going to solve problems that are inherent in the trucking industry. There's a lot, and I think the guys on this call have surfaced clearly, and along with Hutch, it's a complicated issue. What this is going to take care of is illegals are not going to be able to drive trucks in the United States, and the states have been fighting him on this. So Trump has gone, fine, we're just going to make it, we're going to take them out of the equation by putting, if your choice is to hire an illegal or hire a veteran, who are you going to hire?
Yeah, and real quick, just the comment up on the screen. Let's see, right here, NAFTA. I just remember back in the 90s, and Blaine and Joe, I'm sure you guys remember this too, how all of a sudden you started seeing these decrepit Mexican trucks coming across the border. Now they didn't go all 50 states. There were some restrictions. They were restricted mostly to border states, but still. They were Mexican trucks with Mexican truck drivers that didn't have the safety, regulations to uphold that the American trucks did. And that was the beginning of what essentially we're seeing now. So,
and we've had Americans killed by illegals driving these big trucks. Yeah. It's the bottom line, guys.
Yeah. You got to get rid of them. You got to get them out of there. It doesn't matter what came first or whatnot. It's a problem now. We got to solve it. So I didn't mean to,
you're good.
Get paralysis by analysis on that one, Watcher. But it's just one of those kind of things where ultimately, bottom line, it doesn't matter what the ultimate cause of the problem is. It's a problem today, and we got to fix it. Thank you for that insight, Blaine. All right, moving on. Hold on a second. Trump announces Hamas disarmament deal while Saudi Arabia launches Red Sea Defense Coalition. So basically, Trump has announced a historic peace deal for Gaza under the Board of Peace, confirming Thursday that Hamas has agreed to a phased disarmament plan, which will be followed by Israel's withdrawals. Let me say that this sounds very optimistic, and I will believe it when I see it. Gentlemen, your thoughts on a phased disarmament plan in Gaza?
Yeah, it's really easy for Hamas to agree to this, but it says once Israel does X, which Israel will never do. And while it says Hamas, unless it also says the Palestinian Authority, it doesn't actually matter, because in Gaza, Hamas is the Palestinian Authority. So they would still be armed.
Here's how this is going to play out, because I already wrote it up for this week's edition or next week's edition of my weekly update. Hamas will break the deal and attack in some way on Israel, either at their troops on the ground or fire a few rockets. Israel will respond. The mainstream media will only cover Israel's response. Because it's all part of their anti-Semitism.
Like Iran, Blaine.
Yeah, it is. It's just like, it's just like Ukraine. It's the same thing. All you ever see is, Russia's launching drones into Kiev. Well, what about the 400 drones that the night before Ukraine launched into Moscow?
Targeting civilian infrastructure.
Yes, committing war crimes, by the way. The same war crimes that they scream about with Putin are the same ones that are there. So this is how this is all going to play out. You're going to see it in the mainstream media as Israel is breaking the peace, or Israel is launching attacks on Hamas again. It's really a matter of time. Is it a good step forward? It's a step forward. Whether it'll hold, I'm highly questioning, because we didn't hear Hamas announce it. We didn't hear Israel announcement. We've heard Trump announce it. So until I know everybody's on board and they're actually doing something, I'm not going to hold on to this. These people like living in rubble, and I think that's good for them.
Watcher, you got to take off, it sounds like, right?
Yeah, I just got a call. The storage unit I manage, it looks like somebody just broke into one of my clients' units, and I got to go meet the police down there to file a report.
Okay, sounds good. We'll see. Hope it all works out. Yep.
Yeah, hopefully it's only 30 minutes away, so hopefully I can make it back before show end.
All right,
take a camera. I want to see.
Well, I just have to say this. This is such a weird behavior pattern. Somebody's broken into 2 of these units in the last 2 weeks, and they keep replacing their own lock on the outside of the unit when they leave. Anyhow, bye.
All right, take care. All right. Well,
I would think that would be an owner of the unit's responsibility, not watchers. But okay, what do I know?
Yeah. I guess he's probably still managing that facility at some level. Yeah. All right. So here's another. Let me follow up on this story here. Saudi Arabia convened a meeting of 43 countries to discuss a coalition that will guard vessels passing through the Red Sea as Saudi Arabia prepares to launch an offensive against the Iran-backed Houthi terrorists in Yemen. Now, the irony here, Joe, is that I don't know how many navies these countries have and what they're going to be doing, but it sounds to me like it's a bunch of countries who are then going to turn around, go hat in hand to America and say, protect our naval passages.
Ironically, almost none of the nations invited to this summit has a navy. So it's pretty interesting. But I got a name that they could probably use for this coalition. Operation Prosperity Guardian. This sounds like a good name.
If only somebody had thought of it first, Joe.
If only. Ironically, though, it's one thing to say you're going to do it. It's quite another to actually make it happen.
Yeah. So this is one of those really hard to do problems that only a country like the U.S. and then maybe in coordination with our NATO allies for air cover and things like that could do. You could argue that China might be able to do it. Russia's a little thin on the ground with a navy these days. I don't know if Russia could do it, but definitely the 47 countries that Saudi's getting with probably have as much of a navy as, I don't know, maybe the Coast Guard. Not even the Coast Guard. I bet the Coast Guard is a more formidable navy than these 47 countries can put in the field. So.
Well, Egypt has a navy, but it's very Mediterranean focused and not very Red Sea focused.
Well, even Saudi Arabia has a navy, but it's let's be honest. Just because they've bought a navy doesn't mean they have a navy. If you know what I mean. If you know what I mean. The Arab fighting man is not known for his naval prowess. All right,
and neither is the African. Pirates notwithstanding, the Africans don't really swim.
That's right. That's exactly right. All right, so this next one is more of a. So this is a long video. We'll watch the first little bit of this video because I think it's relevant. And Nick Shirley has been doing some pretty good work here ever since the Equality Learning Center. So I wanted to kind of plug this because I also agree that this is a real big fucking problem in the country here. So he says here, this is the question posed by Nick Shirley is asking Americans about the rise of communism. Here's the modern day communist in America. He believes in the abolishment of prisons and police, rent freeze, government run grocery stores, property seizure, tax the rich, abolishment of the president, Senate, and Supreme Court. Candidates across the across America are being elected supporting these exact ideas. So let's get to know our friendly neighborhood communists here in this short video clip.
What do you think about the rise of communism here inside of America?
You know what? It's not surprising.
But I think I'm pretty pro-communism. I'm pretty pro getting rid of prisons.
I am married into a family who escaped communism, and we are far from that.
The democratic socialists are just a form of communism.
Communism is primed for countries like England, America.
Communism never works, but it's such an easy idea.
Here in America, communism is rising. Today, we're going to be asking people here in New York City about the rise of communism, socialism, the Democrat Socialists of America. There's lots of ideas that are going and being spread around across the United States that revolve around communism. So today, we're asking people here in New York City, from college students to lawyers. We'll be talking to everybody about the rise of communism here inside of America. Let's get into it. Let's start talking to people here and wait till the very end, because it gets very interesting.
So I think this is interesting. Just the clip that he showed, because I clearly those were cherry picked. It wasn't the exact "I'm all pro-communist, I'm pro-free" stuff that you expected. There's a lot of people who are not like, when you bring up the communism piece, they're like, "Well, whoa, hold, pump the brake here, buddy. This is not exactly what we're looking for." Joe, thoughts?
In the words of Lenin, the goal of socialism is communism.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it.
Well,
They can call themselves whatever they want. They're communists. And communism doesn't work. The only area where I say communism works is ammunition. If you've got ammo and I need ammo, you should share your ammo with me. But other than that,
Blaine, I mean, they're literally speed running, the kind of prequel for Blue Dawn with this DSA takeover in some areas.
This is it. Everybody knows this won't work. These people that are like, I'm against prisons. How stupid do you have to be? And I understand. I've heard the communists go, well, if everybody has what they need, they won't commit crimes. And I'm like, sure they will. Because there's always somebody that has something that you don't.
Right?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. These people are morons that support this. The Democrats who have invited a tiger into their tent think because the tiger is being nice and purring right now, they think it's all right. That tiger wants to kill them just as much as it wants to kill the Republicans. They want the whole system to come down. And it's because of things like, well, look at Roe v. Wade, the Supreme Court didn't rule the way we want. This is how they always are. They want to change the rules and change the game because they didn't get what they want. So they fall every time they lose something. Their solution is, let's throw the whole system out because it's not fair to me because I didn't get what I wanted.
Well, and the irony is that communism is okay as long as I'm in charge. But if I'm not in charge,
Yeah.
It's good to be the king. Yeah.
Patrick, I saw your comments getting unfollowed from the channel. Unbelievable. I have no idea what the hell is going on with. I mean, I've known for a long time that. Well, I just assume ever since the beginning of the Ukrainian war that we are basically shadow banned or whatever on YouTube, and that it's hard for people to find us. But the fact that you're a paid subscriber to the channel and yet you are being automatically unfollowed shows that they definitely have it in for us. So you sent 10 joules. I don't know what that means, but thank you very much. You said happy poop. Yeah, I think that sums it up nicely.
I'll go so far too as to say this. My wife and I had this discussion when I was being canceled, that this is the big problem of the woke. They look at people who are successful and their first reaction is, well, how come I don't have any of that? Yeah. They're not willing to actually roll up their sleeves and do the actual hard work of it. They just get upset that it's not fair that this person's making money or owns things that I don't and gets to go places I don't. And that's the root cause of these people. They're like petulant children.
Well, the irony is how many communists are more than happy to espouse communism than get on their plane and go back to their, nice house or whatever, and then go be, you know what I mean? It's like they are They are literally talking out of both sides of their mouths.
My whole thing is, if it's so great, why aren't you vacationing in Cuba, you assholes?
100%.
Exactly right.
I don't see anybody flocking down there. That's communism, man. That's socialism. Go embrace it. Go party down next May and celebrate May Day over in Russia. See how welcome you are.
Well, the other thing too, the only people who go to these countries, because there are some Americans that go to communist lands like Cuba, but they go for two reasons, right? A, because they ain't got shit, so they're not gonna miss shit.
Yeah.
And they're a rock star when they, as an American, showing up in wherever it is, communism land. And then the other is, it's like there is training and things people will tell them in Cuba that they won't tell them and they can't get easily in America.
Within the jurisdiction of the United States, yes.
Exactly right. Exactly right. This is the reason why anybody who basically spends any amount of time for a non-good reason, and like, I'm not saying that tourism is a good reason, but at least if you could document that you are going to some place to see the wildlife or something like that, then at least you might
like if you're going there to recruit BBLs for his pleasure palace, then it might be a good place to go.
That might be okay. Is like, as long as we could show that he brought several BBLs back with him, things like that.
There's too many big booties in Cuba. There's not a lot of food to go around.
That's true. Not a caloric deficit definitely eats into the booty.
Strikes me as more of a Venezuelan kind of guy. So
anyway, I just wanted to share this video from Nick Shirley. It's 30 minutes long. It's out there. Well, it's 22 minutes long, but it's a good length. Check it out. And Nick Shirley's been doing a pretty good job with what he's doing, and hopefully
I got a message for him, by the way.
What's
in
that?
Reference to the incident with his camera and his gear being stolen and his attack. I told you there was an easy solution, and you thought it was too expensive.
Yeah. Well, the sad thing is this guy's probably got money hand over fist now. The problem is poor people, even when they get money, they think spending money is, when you get money, you got to spend money.
Replacing that equipment costs way more than what he was quoted. So
Yep, 100%.
It's happened like 5 different times, and they always call me back and like, yeah, we probably should just go with that. Huh? Weird.
All right. Speaking of going with that, let's talk a little bit about tacticalwisdom.com. Good big week for Tactical Wisdom. But let's be honest, Joe, you were doing way more Camp Ponderosa, running around with a chicken with his head cut off, with everybody asking for everything and giving nothing to you for the last week than you were Tactical Wisdoming. Though I sold several of your books, I was very happy to report.
I actually had a pretty good week. I sold a lot of classes, a lot of books. A lot of people got here, hadn't registered for a class, and when they heard what I was teaching, they were like, I'm in. So I'm a little bit behind on articles for Tactical Wisdom. I'm going to do a recap of the whole event and why it's important on there this week. Like, building community, that is what it's all about. And you need to get out and meet each other. And I'll tell you what, I got a chance to introduce some people to some others who are very important to me, and they made connections, and those people are all now talking. And I think that is what it is all about. You can be as prepared as you want to be. You can have all the gear and everything for yourself, but if you don't have a community of people that are going to help you protect it, you're not going to have it for very long. So you have to get involved. Meeting each other face to face. You cannot build relationships without a face-to-face meeting. So that's why coming to these things is important. And then you will even see guys like Bestiuk and realize that he looks like a Canadian Mountie because he is probably a Canadian Mountie. But, I'm just kidding. You're a great dude, and we loved having you here. But
well, that's the reason why he wasn't worried about smuggling all that gear across the border. It's like, he's like, when you're a cop, you don't have to worry about the cops.
Yeah, he just had to flash his badge and get that gear across the border. Check out my schedule. We've got a lot of classes coming up, a lot of things planned. I've got some pistol classes this weekend. I had forgotten how much fun teaching those were. We did a really serious and fast-paced 8 hours on Monday, and everyone enjoyed it. We got a lot of stuff in. So look for my training classes coming your way. I've got classes here at the camp through September, classes in North Carolina in October, and then we're going to start putting up classes for the winter. And Bestiak being one of the guys, even though we're teasing him, and he's overly defensive about being a Mountie in the chat right now. He's come to some of my winter classes, and my winter classes are pretty darn good. And watch it, check it out, buy some books, and I have a patch resupply on the way.
Very good, very good. Yeah, I was very surprised. The t-shirts did very well. If Watcher were still here, I would sign him up to be my t-shirt vendor for the rest of the t-shirts, but we'll hold off on that until I'm able to kind of get with him to talk about how to sell the rest of the t-shirts. Bottom line is that you guys in the chat have first come, first serve for the rest of the t-shirts that are left over after the event. We will be doing a restock on t-shirts, but we've got to we need to sell through these first, and then we'll take the same design, we'll modify it a little bit, and then we'll also add some colors, so there'll be more colors. And then, essentially, I want to try to do maybe a different t-shirt every 6 months or so. I think that's a pretty good way to do it. So there is that. And then also a new patch. I've already kind of come up with a design. So we will be looking at that. If only I could find somebody who makes hats too, do a hat and a patch together. I think that's the killer app, but I've yet to come up with that yet. All right.
Well, you know what's funny? I'm sorry. On that note of the community building, there were Albertans who met other Albertans, and
yeah,
I thought that was amazing. He came to Montana, another country, and met neighbors and friends and built those strong relationships.
Though unfortunately, the way the Canadians look at that, that's like Carolyn Bass going to Cuba to meet, say, AOC. And to build linkages on how that's how the Canadians view coming down to Montana to meet other Albertans. So,
no. About hats, and I forgot about the hat thing. Ironically, I had a long conversation with last night about somebody embroidering hats. So stand by.
That would be cool. That's definitely one of the things that was asked for. What are the jewels? I don't know what this is on. In YouTube.
It's the thing in the they gave him some jewels, so he's got stupid emojis. He's trying to use them all. So
all right. Well, 550 jewels. Stay hydrated. Thank you, sir. All right. Let's see. Hey, Blaine. Let's go through what's going on with you in the Blaine publishing industry. I am envious of your productivity, my friend. What's up next? What's most recent?
August 13th, 10 Year 4 audiobook goes on pre-sale. It'll go out in September. So I'm kind of excited about that. 10 Year 5 is done and in the hands of the editor. The third book of Chisholm's Black Sheep, which is my Marine Corps saga. Joe, someone caught the reference in there. One of the halls in Camp Lejeune has been named Dolio Hall. They caught that and they were like, hey, Joe's found a way to get into land and sea too. And I was like, yeah, you're the first guy that caught that.
There were people here this weekend. I held up a Marine captain uniform and I was like, this is Captain Dolio's.
I'm working hard on the final book for the Blue Dawn series. Well, the final book in the Big Arc. I have a feeling going through Wargate, what I really want to do is invite people to write books in there. So I think it's going to be kind of fun. Those are the Mike and I are just getting ready to kick off 10 Year 6. So lots of cool stuff going on.
Patrick, stop spending the jewels, bro.
I mean, I don't, thank you. I don't know what I don't know how to rate a jewel. So, it's like,
My first thought was family jewels, and I was like, why is he sharing his testicles?
Good.
Or the testicles of his victims, maybe.
Yeah. Let's see. Just Me for $10 says, I don't know what a jewel is, but here 9 can get you a cup of coffee at a gas station. Yeah.
Speaking of coffee, I understand that T's daughter's coffee thing here was pretty good. I never went there, but I heard it was pretty good.
What is this?
T's daughter's coffee stand at the Mountain Readiness.
Oh, okay.
I never stopped in there. I was never out over there that early in the day.
Yeah, I always miss breakfast. Like I think I had a little biscuits and gravy one morning, but it was like cold gravy. Like it was literally scraping the gravy off the thing, because I never got over there in time for breakfast.
You know what? For those who are wondering, the winner of the Boilerman versus whatever Quellican biscuits and gravy competition, Quellican won by a landslide. So it was very good. And I actually won because I got to have them both. So,
let's see.
But I got to warn them both. Gene outsmokes them both. So,
all right. Let's see. Let me do the brush beater ad here real quick. All right. In the midst of a migrant invasion of Spain and ongoing conflict with Iran, instability continues to spread across Europe and the Middle East. Pressure is rising, and the ability to operate in the dark is becoming more critical than ever. When you need to own the night, the team at Brush Beater Store brings you serious capability from Kyber Optics. The Kyber Optics DNTV DTNV 31 Gen 2 Plus white phosphor is a dual tube night vision system featuring high performance NVT tubes, manual gain control, auto gating, and rugged construction to build for real world use. It ships with an external battery pack, dovetail mount, shroud, and low profile nightcap. It's backed by a solid warranty from a veteran-owned company that understands what works in the field. This is a functional high-end night vision designed to get capable people equipped without required a second mortgage. Shop down at Brush Beater Store for that and other items. Basically, it's at product/Kyber/optics/ oh, it's a huge link. I'm not going to say the whole thing. Use code CFC10 for 5% off all Kyber Optics radios or training. Orders over $150 ship for free. Big thanks to Matt at Brush Beater Store for bringing veterans and serious patriots gear that actually meets the moment. Head to brushbeater.store, enter code CFC10, and get the night vision edge you need as global conflicts intensify. Now, back to the show.
Hey, before we go on to the main segment, I want to point out that on this day in history, it is a sad day because this is the day of the Rhodesian surrender. Never forget, in the war against global communism, we are all Rhodesians. I had somebody ask over the weekend while they're here, why are you guys so focused on Rhodesia? So I went into like a 90-minute dissertation on why Rhodesia matters. So it was pretty good.
It's basically the just country who is unpopular, and then the rest of the world turns its back on it, and because of that, they end up. It becomes a nickel and diming affair, right?
Well, when you read the whole story of Rhodesia, you know everything. You're like, wow, that's literally us today, right?
Yeah.
And we're on that. And by the way, the answer to it was included in my Sunday service, which Scott, you made it, but sort of, you might have been a minute or two late, but you made it.
I heard it was started, and I came over when I heard. So,
if you missed it, that's a shame because it was fiery as usual, but good and informative. So,
all right. Let's jump into our main topic for today, shall we? We're talking about the Spanish incursion. So, I've got a little write up on this to kind of go through, but this is mainly a story of the pictures, right? So let's kind of get into that. Joe was nice enough to send me a link on an article here with some video. Let me share this. Let's see. Add to stage. All right, here we go. So no story on this, just video, but tens of thousands of migrants estimated from roughly 40 to 60,000 crossed in from Morocco into Spanish North Africa enclave on July 30th and 31st. Let's see, this is the North African enclave of Ceuta, and that is on the south side of the Straits of Gibraltar in Morocco. It's an actual Spanish controlled enclave. There are several of these, to include some islands. Let's see, primarily by swimming or around coastal breakwater jetty, or scaling or breaching border barriers. This is widely described as one of the largest single-day, short-period irregular entries into EU territory in recent history, and far exceeds the prior episode in May of 2021. Ceuta, which has a population of around 83 to 84,000, so literally they're almost doubling the population overnight, is a Spanish autonomous city on a peninsula jutting into the Mediterranean from the Moroccan coast. Along with Melilla, it forms the European Union's only land borders with Africa. Crossings have been a pressure point, with periodic surges involving mostly young Moroccan men, plus some women, children, and sub-Saharan Africans seeking entry into Spain and Europe. So from this, you've got, let's see, deaths. At least 19 to 34 people have died, many by drowning while swimming, some in stampedes near the beach breakwater. Bodies have been recovered from the water. These are predominantly young Moroccan men and adolescents, thousands of minors reported in some estimates, with families and some others also present. Many arrived wet with little more than swimwear or a flotation device. Reception centers were overwhelmed, leading to people sleeping on the streets. That's according to the BBC. By Friday, July 31st, Spanish authorities reported the surge reversing, with roughly half, around 25,000, returning voluntarily or being processed for return to Morocco. Moroccan forces used batons, tear gas, and water cannons to push back further attempts. Vehicles were torched in clashes on the Moroccan side, and that's from Reuters. Spain deployed military reinforcements alongside additional police, civil guard to restore order. My understanding is that they would not allow to declare a state of emergency, so initially the military couldn't be used. So that was really kind of surprising to me. Let's see here. Here's this Reuters. This is actually a really good thread here, because it really kind of shows a lot of pictures.
That some families and women, I saw literally throughout the day, one woman. The majority were military age males, fighting age males.
Mostly are military. That's exactly right.
And they showed up and immediately began fighting.
Well, but that was one of the reasons. I can't remember which one. BBC, I think, is the one that reported that. But that kind of goes to show you, just, okay, was there one woman? Okay, then there were families there. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's kind of like, it's the bias of these outlets. Blaine, what's your kind of take on all this?
Folks, this is a glimpse of what America would have looked like if Kamala Harris had won the election. This would have been our southern border. And so, Spain deserves this in every way, shape, and form. They elected a government that supports this kind of lunacy. I think it's very telling that Italy came out against this. and said they want Italy and Denmark said they want Spain suspended from the Schengen
The
zone.
Shenzhen, yeah, Shenzhen
Yeah,
zone, yeah.
so they can't, there can't be any travel from there freely into the European Union because they realize like this is a problem. These people didn't bring anything with them. They literally are going, we're going to rely on the government to take care of us.
Yeah.
And a lot of this was started because they granted amnesty. They granted amnesty to the illegals already there.
I believe she also reserved the right to use force if Spain won't. So that's actually kind of important.
Yeah. This is going to tear the European Union apart. Thank God they freaking deserve it.
I was actually surprised that von der Leyen came out with a pretty strong statement today against this and supporting some action. But her
Joe,
action so far has been to send 2 politicians to the region, so I'm sure it'll get solved almost immediately.
Just look at these pictures here. Now, the irony is that like the one woman there appeared to be on the Moroccan side watching the men
she did not
across
cross the border. Yeah,
right. But in all these groups, you see entirely military age males, half dressed, like not. These guys are absolutely a drain on the. Oh, well, there's the one family. Make sure we get them on video.
And I don't believe for a minute the whole lie of, oh, well, we've reversed this and have sent about half these people back.
I don't.
How could you possibly at this stage organize that?
And you know that you sent half them back when you don't actually know how many came in.
Right.
Yeah.
To me,
yeah, that's
the only way you solve this is you set up a Mondeus at the border, you mow down a few lines of these folks, and then the word gets out that they're not allowed in. Sorry, I hate being that brutal, but that's all that's going to work at this stage. You have literally caused this problem.
Blaine, I'm with you, brother. I think you've got to be brutal with some of this stuff in order to because you have to show them that you're serious.
Belt-fed weapons solves this problem. And something I think I'm using hyperbole there. But literally at that point, that is not just immigration. That is someone overrunning your border. If your basic role as a nation state is the defense of the people who live there versus the people who do not. I don't understand why you would not use force, military force, to repel this. Just because they're not uniformed soldiers doesn't mean they're combatants any the less.
This is the Moors, or I'm sorry, the Moops. But however you want to remember it, it's the Moors invading.
Yeah,
100%. This is essentially a reversal of the Reconquista.
When you say things like Moors and Moorish, people suddenly appear saying that the Africans claim America because they were here first. So it's a weird subsect of American culture.
I have a line for that. I don't know if it's appropriate for this show.
It's probably not for this show, but
I'll say it. But I'm going to say it. They can lick my taint.
Yeah, well, you're good. You're good. We said worse on Saturday. That's right. We weren't on YouTube on Saturday, but that doesn't matter. We've said some pretty spicy shit actually recently on YouTube, and we have not.
Actually, the spiciest thing that happened in the last 2 weeks happened live when the FedEx man showed up, and there was an AT4 on my porch.
Oops. All right. So let's look at the immediate trigger and context for this. A key cited factor is the Spanish Supreme Court ruling around late June, early July of this year that limited or prohibited summary returns or hot returns of migrants intercepted at sea near Ceuta or Melilla without the formal procedures. Previously, many swimmers could be turned back more readily. The decision changed incentives. The Spanish authorities and officials stated that trafficking networks spread interpretations of the ruling, including via social media, to encourage crossings. Arrivals by land fence scalings, and C rose sharply in the preceding period. The broader background includes the long-standing migratory pressure at the enclaves of Morocco's role in the border control. Comparison to May 2021, when 8,000 to 12,000. There's nothing even similar to these. 8,000 to 12,000 versus 45 to 65,000 people. It's not even it's not even worth comparing. Some analysts and critics have pointed to the possibility of Moroccan facilitation or geopolitical signaling, timing near the Moroccan commemorations of Spain's ties with Algeria have been noted by observers. Those Spanish officials emphasize trafficking networks in cooperation with Rabat, while Morocco has attributed these to criminal groups in the past context. I'll be honest with you. If you don't think there's more stuff going on here behind the scenes, you're completely ignoring reality.
If you are a Republican running for office this fall, and you need to ask your Democratic person if they're in favor of free open borders, if they're in favor of open borders, you need to show this video, because this is what an open border looks like. We saw it during the Joe Biden administration. We had caravans coming to this country.
Yeah, look at this right here. This is they're just storming through, and they're not even, the police here are not even.
Note what the Garda Civil is doing right here. Literally nothing.
Literally nothing. And these guys are so happy, it's the land of milk and honey as far as they're concerned.
I want you guys, as this video plays a loop again, count the number of women that you see. You can do it on no hands.
Yeah, you can, because there are none. There are 0 women.
Yeah, I don't see any signs about gays for Palestine either.
Yeah.
There's some Moroccan police standing there as this vehicle unloads people.
It's almost as if somebody paid this truck driver to haul these guys directly to the crossing, and then
the police blocked the road so they could get out.
Yeah. So if you don't think that this isn't a
are they just getting out and getting back in? There's a lot of people in that truck.
You'd be, if you stand them up like that, you could get a lot of dudes in the back of a dump truck. Blaine, it's how many guys you could get in the back of a 5-ton truck, right? In the Army, one more. It's always one more. All right, let's see what else we got here. I just got a ton of video, so we'll just kind of get through these here real quick. Here we go. Here's the next one. So it's not as peaceful as you might think. Let's see, what does it say here? Spanish-Morocco border is on fire. So this is, so my understanding is there was some sort of disturbance, actual between the police and the people pushing through the border. So not a surprise. This is probably a vehicle on fire or something like that.
We have the Strait of Hormuz that is contested. We have the Strait of Bab el-Mandeb, which is contested. The last one that is held by us is the Gibraltar Strait.
Yep.
And if this continues, we lose control of both sides of the Strait of Gibraltar. Interesting when you consider it in that context.
Yeah. 100%.
Spain has fallen. Ireland has fallen. Spain has fallen. England has fallen. It's already happened. It's done. It's you're not watching it unfold. It's already happened. It's in the past that these governments have fallen.
All right, this is the deployment of 100 to 150 military personnel with orders not to be aggressive, not to cause harm, and just hold their position at the border. Meanwhile, the fence open on both sides, and no one, not even the army, plugs the door. It's free entry. So video here.
But it looks good to have the troops there.
Well, you could say that we're doing something, right, Joe?
Yeah.
When you are unable, when you have no mission, you have no purpose, then what's the purpose of even being there?
Good for the cameras. Say we're doing something. The king is doing something. I'm waiting for the king of Spain to actually weigh in on this over the prime minister.
It looks like these soldiers don't have plates in their vests either. I'd like to note that doesn't surprise me. The Spanish military does not strike me as a highly competent organization.
Spanish Marines are, but
there's one female. I saw one female in there. That was one in a sea of men. There's one woman back here.
I like the debris field myself. It's like they're not even. It's not even. I mean, they just throw garbage everywhere.
I liked that officer's garrison cap with the dangly
tassel. Yeah, we got to get tassels.
Well, yeah,
it's a tassel standing over here on the checkpoint. Copy that on the way.
So here's Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni is pushing to close Europe's free travel zone off to Spain. The Schengen area after hordes of third world savages invaded Spain. Oh, yes, third world savages. Good way to put it.
Well, when I got off the phone with her last night, she was fired up and she was definitely ready to do something.
Spain is becoming a third world colony. The rest of Europe will soon follow if mass deportations are not carried out on top of secure borders. Right. And so this is the interesting thing, right? This is the kind of attack from within. The moral degradation of Europe is occurring. The legal degradation of Europe is occurring. They have no ability to actually, do anything about this. It's, it's kind of sad to see it happen, but I mean, it's not surprising the way they've been doing things over.
Well, look at the size of Spain. Go back up to that map for a second. I want everyone to see the size of Spain and the Iberian Peninsula versus the remainder of Europe.
Yeah.
Right? It's a pretty big chunk. Sure, there's a little bit of Portugal in there, but Spain's a pretty big country, and that's kind of important. They've struggled with instability for years. There's been a long-running Catalan insurgency, the separatists, along with Basques. So they already had enough problems. This is only going to add to it.
Their economy is going to collapse, guys. It's going to collapse.
Oh, 100%. It's already in the process of collapsing. Like the brain drain is real. Everybody who wants to be involved in the high tech world is basically fleeing Europe, coming to America. The capital's fleeing. There's some very kind of niche stuff going on, but that's entirely kind of like captured capital that isn't allowed to leave Europe. Other than that, Europe is a museum. They are not a leader in anything. Joe, there's only one. I actually was thinking about writing an article about Europe several months ago, and I did the research, but I never wrote the article. But bottom line is there's one technology in the world that Europe is better than anybody else at. And that's the only one technology I could come up with, and that's photolithography machines for print, to build chips. That's it. It's kind of a niche kind of market. It's important in this day and age with chips being as important as they are. But that being said, that's the only thing that I could come up with that Europe does that better than anybody else in the world.
Yeah.
And that's about it. I mean, you could argue Formula One cars are better than anywhere else in the world, but I mean, like it's a fucking race car. It does nothing.
We're talking about an entire continent that doesn't import, buttermilk, ranch dressing. They are that laid back. They literally like came to America and were surprised that we had food that was edible.
Right.
That's how backward and seriously, you can look at it a lot of different ways, but that's how backwards Europeans are.
So there's a great point by, I guess it's Steep Dive in the Rumble chat. No baggage. Why? Because they are pre-staged. For what? You know, in the fine 1/3 of a novel that is called Mongol Moon, his invading Chinese forces had stuff pre-staged in storage units, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The guys came across with nothing, went to storage units where there were guns, ammo, clothing, and food. That's a great point, Steep Dive. What was their plan here?
You know, if there's one weakness to the freedom to buy things like guns and things like that in America, it is that you can arm your enemies can arm themselves off of your economy. But you know, it's a double-edged sword. I'd rather have guns and you know and have that weakness than not have guns at all. Euros have no NASCAR trophies.
Hey, I'm wearing my NASCAR shirt today.
NASCAR, National Association.
Damn right. We started out as bootleggers.
Well, you know, the irony is if they wanted to be in NASCAR, they could. Toyota's in NASCAR. I mean, I'm just saying, you know, it doesn't matter that we make more Toyota cars in America than Japan does. But
it's kind of a joke. I mean, I know how you like your racing. So
well, you know, speaking of racing, I did nerd out a little bit last night. And NASCAR, there is a documentary that came out like last year about how NASCAR took a cup car and raced in Le Mans in 2023. It's actually pretty good, Joe. But I know you don't appreciate these kind of fine culture.
I don't appreciate fine art, right?
That's exactly right.
Speaking of fine art, I'm editing the shorts video today. I know we owe that all to you. We owe that to you all. I am editing the shorts video today so we can get it out, and you may all revel in the whiteness of my legs. So
yes, these shorts were something else. They
were incredibly comfortable.
Yeah, I was very happy with them. I'm looking forward to seeing how they kind of hold up after the initial break-in period, because you know how it is, Joe. You get some good shorts sometimes, and after 10 washes, it's kind of like, wait a second, this is starting to come out.
I mean, we had to have Hunch and Watcher pull security in front of the stage when we came out in these shorts.
They were pretty good. I liked the everything about them.
See, Limey gets it. They may have been lily white, but they did look very muscular. I do have some good looking legs. I'm not going to lie.
Joe does not skip leg day, and neither do I.
That's true. That's true.
My daughter made fun of me one day when my calves had gotten so large from my ruck marching that my jeans were literally stretched tight over the calves, and I was having trouble pulling them down over my calves. That's generally not the area where I have trouble pulling my jeans on from, but it was a good day. It was a good day that was the big part of my body on my jeans. All right. This next one here. Kind of, we talked about the moral corruption within Europe. I'm going to read this and then show you the video. Let this sequence be burned in your mind forever. This is what liberal white women are doing if the left ever wins power again in America in our lifetime. They will gleefully wave the migrant swarm who will rape and behead them just to spite you. The term suicidal empathy doesn't sum this up in quite a satisfying enough way. Something like treasonous harlot or Judas whore, maybe, open to suggestions. We're going to need to come up with a new and creative punitive measure for this type of person. And I'll be honest with you, when I saw this video that I'm getting ready to show you, I absolutely agree with him. Look at this. So these guys are just running through, and she is just waving them on in video, and she's sending the video on to her buddies and everything like this. I mean, what? And she's going to be indignant when one of these guys pins her down in a dark alley and she gets, gang raped by them.
Yeah, I was going to say one. No.
Well, it'll be a group of them. Because you see the ratio here, right?
And look at her. She's shopping for a man, isn't she?
I mean, yeah. I wish, you know what, Joe? If that were the case, I could almost understand it. But she's not shopping for a man. She literally doesn't need I don't need no man.
What's sad is she's encouraging them all in. She'll turn up dead in 3 days.
Yeah, they just want her phone at this point.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that one of them didn't assault her while she was standing there.
Well,
Maybe one did.
By the simple stick doesn't begin to cover it. That must be some sort of a British affectation, but I love it and I'm stealing it.
All right. So once they get in, they don't stop. They don't stop with just now we're here. We'll be peaceful. No. African invaders are now attempting to break into homes in Quetta. Watcher is back.
Hold up. You know what? Hunch just said in the chat, Joey, sure you want me pulling security for the shorts? That's right. I forgot. Hunch was involved in the grand conspiracy involving my shorts.
Cue the Mission Impossible music. That's right.
You know, I went to go and complain to the one person I thought would be on my side in this. I'm like, I can't believe what they tried to do to my shorts. And that person was like, damn, you found out. I'm like, oh, this goes so deep. Everyone was involved in this conspiracy against me.
I was not involved, Joe. So if I
you were the only one who was not. Yeah,
I was not. I had nothing to do with it.
I mean, and Sarah, I love Sarah. She's so sweet and kind.
She was the one who did it.
She was the one who did it. Done with these people. Done with these people. Anyway, carry on.
All right, Watcher, are you back?
Yes, it might only be for a short period, but I'm here.
All right. Anyway. African invaders are now attempting to break into homes in Ceuta, Spain, as midnight approaches. This is a reminder to never, ever give up your firearms. So this is them just kind of doing what migrants do. I mean, it happens in America. It happens in Spain. I got another one here. Yeah. So this is ironic, if I will. This is the government of this Spanish enclave. What do you notice about this picture, guys? I mean, that's a lot of headscarves.
There's a lot of headscarves. The government of Ceuta.
The government of Ceuta has released a video asking Spain to declare the state of emergency, deploy the army to the enclave, and fully close the borders. Sanchez deliberately ignored their request and warnings about the coming invasion, leaving them no choice but to make these appeals to help public. So, you know,
I don't know if you guys have covered it already, but one of the things that I was browsing on the way here said that apparently this morning the president of Denmark has called for Spain to be removed from the Schengen zone over this.
Yeah, same thing. Giorgia Meloni did the same thing. This guy, I have the picture of this guy right here. They've already been overthrown. All right. Let's see. Moving on. So this is I guess this was what the Spanish. This is a documentary of the Spanish police stopping people at the border.
Buenos días. ¿Qué?
If you try to do it the right way, and it's no mas.
You know what? You first put this picture up. It just reminded me of that Secret Service agent in Pennsylvania. Yeah, it was my first reaction.
I kind of want to watch it again because I feel like we missed some stuff here, but AI does it again. So, you know,
that's how you know it wasn't. Oh, never mind. Never mind. I was going to get in trouble. Nope.
I think I know where you're going with
that.
I
really think that.
I will get you out of trouble here.
You've got to be a lot more careful.
Yeah. President Trump erupted at the White House, pounding his fist on the table, declared Europe is being invaded. This is complete ruthless invasion, and the United Kingdom is the prime suspect. All right, let's listen to his scree here. I got to turn the sound up here. Here we go.
Did you discuss it with him? I did, briefly. He's going to have to mention it because it's killing your country. Mr. President. Killing you. He's killing your country. And not him. I mean, we'll have to see. I know Starmer did very little about it. And they're coming from all over the world. They're coming from Africa. They're coming from South America. They're coming from different parts of Asia. And they're invading Europe. I mean, they're invading Europe. It's an invasion. And the UK is a prime suspect.
So, I mean, I don't know that this is in response to the Spain thing, but it's completely, I think, applicable because he's clearly had his finger on the pulse of this for some time.
Well, it comes from an authoritative news source like Today's News.
Well, I mean, you know,
well, and to be honest with you, it's not just the governments over there; it's the church. Yeah, how many? You know, they have been announcing that you need open borders. The Vatican has.
Oh,
how many immigrants have they taken in to the Vatican? And I was there just this last year. They have plenty of room. Okay, for people. They don't take in anybody, but they tell everybody else you should be.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Well, you know, Joe, since you're not happy with this authoritative news source, let me give you another one that probably is something a little more.
I just refer to his pounding on the table thing. I didn't say pound on the table.
No. Yeah. 100%. Like, and I knew because I previewed this. I knew because I needed it to set up this.
This, I believe.
Yeah. Now, this makes sense.
I'll pick it back up after this, by the way.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I know it's for whatever reason.
Hold on. If it's having issues, I'll pull it up on my end.
I was going to say, you got to remember, Scott's in his sister's basement or something.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Soy su new presidente, el señor Donaldo J. Trump. I'm here to deport all these illegal aliens from El Morocco. Ay, amigos. Why did you let them in, El Morocco es mucho loco, and they stinko because they're a shitholio when you think about it, Anyway, don't worry, Me and Senor Tom Homano are going to deport all these illegal alienos and make Spaino great again, Comprende, muchachos. All you got to do is give us back the World Cup, that we clearly won, this summer, and I'll get rid of all your illegal alienos and make Spaino great again, Adios, muchachos. Y muchos nachos.
You know, I feel bad that I didn't come up with this idea.
Oh, my God.
Oh, Lord, help us.
Oh, my God. I mean, why, you know, like.
I was well executed.
Donald Trump's like, why didn't I think of that?
Donald Trump's like, AI, that was not AI. That was me. I did that.
That was me. I did that. What are you saying? All right. There we go. I have closed my shared link there. Watcher, I'll let you share for the balance of your time here with us. All right. Moving on to segment 2. Which is more Iran stuff. The Iran war continues. Let's see what we got here. CNBC. Iran targets strategic U.S. assets in Kuwait, Bahrain after Egypt drone attack.
I'm sorry. We don't really have any strategic assets in Kuwait or Bahrain. That's the entire point of strategic assets. You don't put them where the other side can get them.
Egypt said that a drone had hit 2 ships at its Mediterranean port of Diamante. The incident marks the first attack on Egyptian soil since the war between the U.S. and Iran started. So Iran said, you know what? I don't have enough enemies. I'm going to attack Egypt too. Oh, by the way, Egypt is probably one of the more competent military, competent Arab militaries that there are. That's saying a lot for an Arab military, by the way.
Which puts them on par with about the Boy Scouts of America.
That's exactly right. Joe, any thoughts on them? Iran attacking Egypt? Not smart.
There's a colloquialism in rural America that even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. And I think that's probably how this strike played out. The location of that port's been known for a very, very long time. The fact that they actually hit it was more luck than skill, but it was a widening of the war. And it would seem to indicate to me that Egypt, surprising no one, probably has an Iranian intelligence problem because of all of the Gazans who live there.
Yep.
So,
yeah, the Hamas angle really kind of gives Iran a kind of toehold into Egypt. Now, Egypt traditionally has very strong ties with the UAE. They have teamed up together in both Libya and Sudan. So it'll be interesting to see if Egypt starts to provide aid and assistance, because let's be honest, Egypt has a strong regional power, but it's, the Gulf of the Gulf of the Arabian Sea, not the Arabian Sea. What am I?
The Arabian Gulf is nowhere near Egypt.
The Red Sea.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm confusing the Red Sea and the Arabian Gulf. So the Gulf of Arabia is completely outside of Egypt's kind of area of influence. So it would be really hard for them to directly affect things around, like, say, the Straits of Hormuz and whatnot. So I could see them acting through the UAE potentially. So I'll be kind of keeping my eye out for that. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't start to see some of that. So let's look at the key developments in the region. On July 28th, Iran conducted multiple attacks, including firing ballistic missiles at U.S. forces in Jordan, intercepted and described as first direct attempt against U.S. troops in several days. There were also reported the strikes or threats involving shipping and regional targets. Houthis claimed an attack on a Saudi-linked tanker. The U.S. and Saudi Arabia jointly struck Iranian-aligned militia logistics and weapon sites in eastern Iraq in response to more than 30 IRGC-directed drone attacks over the prior 72 hours. Iran rejected an Omani proposal for joint shared management of Hormuz shipping lanes, insisting on stronger Iranian control, particularly inbound routes. President Trump met Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu on the 29th. Actually, let's kind of go through some of the things that we have here. Watcher, if you could pull up
the next article, or
let's bring up the CENTCOM one here. I think this is kind of important because CENTCOM does a pretty good job of being an authoritative source for what's happening with U.S. forces in the region. This is an article from CENTCOM on X. U.S. Saudi forces strike Iranian-backed terrorist sites in Iraq. Not a surprise at all that these popular mobilization forces is what they're known as. They're Shia militias. Basically, the sons and daughters of not daughters, but definitely the sons of the Mahdi militia. You remember that? Remember those guys, Joe? The Mahdi militia.
Mahdi army? Yeah.
I
remember the Mahdi army well. Yeah.
So that was the largest Shiite group. We kind of got them on our side. And then Iran got them on their side. Let's see. U.S. and Saudi fighter aircraft struck multiple terrorist logistics and weapon sites across eastern Iraq in a strong response. Over 30 IRGC-directed drone attacks in the last 72 hours. The unwarranted attacks against U.S. forces were not successful. From February through April 2026, there were more than 600 attempted attacks on U.S. citizens and facilities by Iran-aligned terrorist militias in Iraq. The IRGC and its terrorist proxies must cease these attacks to avoid further U.S. military response.
By the way, speaking of the Mahdi thing, did you know that he recently formed a new militia?
Oh, he did?
Called the Peace Companies, and serves as its current head. It's a shame that dude still draws breath. I'm just throwing that out there.
And I heard from people who actually met the guy. He said he is literally a functional retard. He is like a 70 IQ moron. But unfortunately, because
but yes.
Speaking of the opposite of we have a auspicious addition to the chat here.
He comes in and you're talking about a 70 IQ functional retard, and Jim's like, "You talking about me?
You talking about me?
No, not Jim."
The opposite of Jim. Jim, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I just saw Blaine. I had to come say good morning. Hello, Blaine.
Hello.
Oh, and in honor of Jim.
That is such a great hat.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
I personally, this was a heartfelt gift, Jim. I'm gonna.
No, it is. It is, and it's important as you age and you bald. It's very important, and it covers the tips of your ears. Trust me, it's a lesson learned. So, yeah.
See, the good news for me is that the only thing that will cause me to bald is wearing hats. My children already joke that I only have a 3 head. I don't even have a 4 heads. You know.
You never fell off the front of a track and left scalp pieces. That's always a good sign.
I tried not to fall off tracks.
I'm not going bald. My hair is falling back to a more defensible position.
Yeah, no, exactly, Blake. Exactly. That's my call. So yeah, all is good. I think the Arabs are going to start taking territory, but that's me, right? So,
yeah. Well, you know, we reported in the beginning of the segment, Jim, that Egypt was finally attacked because Iran didn't have enough enemies. They wanted to get Egypt involved. And while Egypt's pretty strong for an Arab military, they're not a regional power. So I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see them supporting UAE in their efforts to defend themselves.
Well, they're kind of part of that reforming Arab group, right? So Turkey, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Jordan.
Yeah.
There's going to be this interesting restructuring. And the Egyptians have something none of the other Arab countries really have, which is labor. Right?
Yeah.
And
that's actually a good point.
Everybody in the Middle East needs a place to build stuff. And so Egypt is a very important part of, and they're very industrially competent. They understand how to make steel. They know how to make cars. They've done that for decades, right? So the attack on Egypt, the attack on that gas vessel, and that's a very specialized gas vessel. It's owned by the United States. There's a company that owns it. They get lease payments. And what they've done is basically put natural gas infrastructure for large municipalities on the ground. So you don't have to build it. You just keep it on a ship. And there are a lot of reasons to do that. Risk is one of them. But they are vulnerable and they're very valuable. They're multi-billion-dollar assets. So, and there aren't a lot of them. So that's why they went after it, is a continuation of trying to hurt the Qataris and the Saudis. And I think it was a bad idea. So, but we're seeing some territory change hands. Spain's about to lose some territory, it seems. Not sure where that's going to end up, but boy, there's some Arab labor. Yeah. Jake Clark, thank you. Yeah, it's interesting. So I do want to say that the work ethic in Egypt and Morocco and those places is very good compared to a lot of other countries you may have fought in and sweated in and other things.
Well, the irony is that Iraq's got a heck of a population too, but once again, without the leadership, there's no way to direct it.
Yeah, exactly. That's why the Ba'ath Party was the functional component there. So I didn't mean to interrupt the discussion on strikes in the Gulf because I know that's important. But
no.
So what's the decision? Is it going to continue in force?
Oh yeah. If I had to say, I'd say yeah. I mean, I can't imagine that Saudi Arabia is going to let up any pressure off of this. I think Saudi Arabia is as much driving the response as anybody else.
Well, Saudi Arabia is realizing right now that they're kind of in an existential fight. This thing has crossed beyond a tit for tat and is now Iran's going to fight to the death. So that means Saudi Arabia has to, right? And they're getting it from a couple of different sides. JSUP asks, is a full air traffic blockade on Iran possible? I'm sure this is in response to the air resupply operation that occurred by China. And until we have the political will to kill Chinese airmen, no, it's
Yeah.
not possible.
Yeah, and ultimately that's kind of like any blockade. That's what it comes down to, right? Like when we were talking a couple of years ago about the Chinese blockade of Taiwan, ultimately it comes down to, would it be successful? Well, it's ultimately if China decides to try to sink American ships coming into port. If they decide to do that, then yeah, it can be very successful, because we would bet that they wouldn't do that. Right. And honestly, I don't know that we would know what to do if that were to be the case. And I think China are kind of in the same position. You know, they're willing to risk it, but at the same time, I don't know if they would be able to kind of force the issue, considering the neighborhood.
Well, they tested it with the ManPad deal, right? So historically, Chinese defense companies use Hong Kong cutouts, and in the days when Hong Kong was still ostensibly autonomous, you could justify that. There's no justification for it now. I mean, it's like it's a ridiculous play, and it was very transparent. What needs to happen is the GCC needs to accept, and this is going to be the rub. They need to accept that they need to crater every major runway that can take a heavy cargo aircraft. Now, they're double-edged sword to killing all the runways. We know this from the past. Yeah. But they have the capability, right? They have Durandal and Durandel's sisters from the French and the Germans. They're ready to go crater anything they want to crater. For some reason, they're holding off. And I think it comes down to they really don't want to put pressure on the Iranian people. And that rub is a problem for them. They need to start cratering those runways, especially if the Russians and Chinese are flying key componentry in, because we don't need sophisticated manpads coming after us. Now, people will say the Chinese manpads are not sophisticated. We also don't want the Chinese to learn how to make sophisticated manpads. And so the more they get to use them against us, the worse it is for us in the long run. So there's a bit of a game being played in Iran now.
I'm going to issue my standard caution here. Just like us, the Chinese and the Russians have export versions of their weapons system. They don't give the good ones to their allies. They keep those for themselves.
Yep. That's a fact.
And this all comes in a week, too, where you've got Iran threatening Ukraine with military operations, which I did not have on my bingo card. And my bingo cards are pretty good.
Well, they got to move resources from Europe to Ukraine now. Blaine.
This is just, like Iran's declaring war on anybody. It's kind of like they draw their name out of a bowl.
Well, the one place I haven't seen them try to kind of rope into all of this has been Azerbaijan, right? Azerbaijan, there was some tension between them during the Azerbaijan-Armenian conflict a couple years ago over Nagorno-Karabakh. Iran, if you remember, I thought I said at the time on the show that I thought this was very ironic that a Muslim republic was coming to the defense of a Christian nation in opposition against another Muslim, i.e. Reed Turkmen nation. And so it put them on the opposite of Turkey in that case. And, that's another one, Joe. Turkey's pretty quiet in this whole kind of conflict as well, with the exception of the Israeli kind of interactions that they've been having.
I'm not sure. They invaded Syria a couple of days ago and seized a lot of territory.
Well, no. I'm saying vis-a-vis Iran. It's kind of like they're like not our circus, not our monkeys.
But what props up Syria?
Yeah. I'm with you there. And Syria has been rattling the sword in support.
My point is that you can't then separate the Turkish invasion of northern Syria from the Iran issue, because they're the same.
Well, see, I saw that more as a Turkey-Kurd deal, but
yes, but okay. Now
I'm just saying. I just didn't see it as directly connected. If you disagree, I'd love to hear your.
Well, who are the Kurds fighting there?
Syrians.
Iranian-backed militias, right?
Why?
And Turkey's in interjecting themselves into positions that were being held by the Iranian-backed militias to prevent the Kurds from getting there. The Iranian-backed piece is still there. And Turkey's response is probably to not let them have any ground and also not let the Kurds have any ground. It is kind of a combination effect, right?
Yeah. I mean, I won't deny they aren't all connected, but sometimes it's a kind of 3 degrees of separation.
Especially in Syria, which we should just have all washed our hands of, and al-Jalani as well.
Yeah.
Salt, pillars of salt. I think one of the things that caught my attention in Syria was the seizure of the Iranian arms in the tanker vehicles.
Yeah, by Syria.
On the border of Lebanon by the Syrian government. That showed a real switch. The Turks have such a money game going with oil from Iraq that, Syrian and Iraqi oil is kind of there. They want to maintain control. They're seeing these pipelines be proposed. It's a complete shuffling of power decks right now. And when the Turks, who are a defense business in themselves, see Chinese influence or Iranian influence in the defense industry without them, they get prickly, right? So there's so many competitive needs in the Turks, right? They want to be part of Europe, but they want to maintain control of the Middle East, but they want a bigger power position. I think the Turks will ultimately be very pleased to see a new kind of Iran that becomes a marketplace for them rather than China. It's going to be an interesting switch up. But I do think Syria is going to continue to be a problem, though I do think that the back of Hamas has been broken finally. I think that usually means that they're just going to spawn some new organizations. And then I hope Lebanon can sort the Hezbollah out. The Israelis are clearly not moving as fast as everybody had hoped. But the Lebanese are slow to take on positions in the south. I'd like to see the Lebanese army take over the south, but they have to purge the Hez guys out of the Lebanese army before they will put them in charge of the south. So always complicated.
Yeah, it's never easy. Never easy. All right, so more on the U.S. strikes against. So this is the next CENTCOM article here. U.S. strikes IRGC targets after attempted Iranian attacks. CENTCOM forces successfully completed a heavy wave of strikes against Iran in response to yesterday's attempted missile strikes on U.S. forces. CENTCOM assets struck dozens of Islamic Revolutionary Guard targets in Iran, including military command centers, missile and drone facilities, coastal surveillance, defense sites, and maritime capabilities. The strikes aimed to further diminish threats posed by Iran and its proxies to American forces, commercial shipping, and neighboring Gulf countries. On the 28th, IRGC forces launched multiple ballistic missiles from Iran in an attempted surprise attack on U.S. forces based in the Middle East. All Iranian missiles were successfully intercepted. There's something to be said. If the CENTCOM comes out publicly and says that they were all intercepted, that's actually one of those kind of things that that's exactly what they think, right? They wouldn't be that clear if that wasn't the case. So there's something there. More than 50,000 service members are currently deployed to the Middle East to remain highly vigilant, focused, lethal, and ready. Iran is not enjoying success when it comes to striking, U.S. forces throughout the region, despite the fact that they continue to say that they have sunk another aircraft carrier, evidently. I mean, call me crazy, but it doesn't seem like they're very good at their job. This next one here is another CENTCOM. This is like one of these kind of fact-checking Iranian claims. Over the past few hours, Iranian state media have continued to report false claims by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. 3 in particular. First claim, the IRGC claims free and open routes through Strait of Hormuz are dangerous for commercial vessels. Fact: the immediate dangers posed to commercial vessels and their civilian crews are the IRGC's verbal threats and attempted attacks. So, yes, it's dangerous.
That actually doesn't disprove the claim. It actually supports it. Yes, IRGC's attacks are dangerous for commercial vessels.
Well, yeah, I mean, it
Several
depends.
have been sunk.
It depends if IRGC is trying to claim that they aren't the ones threatening anybody. All right. The second claim here, IRGC claims that 3 U.S. F-35 stealth fighters and 3 other aircraft were destroyed during a recent Iranian attack on an American airbase. No U.S. aircraft were damaged or destroyed in recent attempted Iranian attacks. All missiles and drones were intercepted or failed, or this is the other key kind of piece to that, right? Or failed to reach targeted areas, which I think is, it means that all the ones that we were worried about, we intercepted. The rest of them just hit where they
landed in the desert and churned up some sand.
Exactly. Or we were able to remove or make them hit the wrong place using electronic warfare, potentially.
I mean, that's a thing. Third claim, Iranian state media has reported that a commercial oil tanker, MT Nora, has broken through the U.S. blockade. Fact, the commercial vessel has not broken through America's blockade. More than 20 U.S. warships, hundreds of aircraft, and thousands of service members remain vigilant and continue to fully enforce the blockade. Now, if you don't think that the Americans don't do propaganda too, something that I just could not bear to say, but it's worth noting here. The first sentence really read, the commercial vessel has not broken through America's steel wall blockade.
Right.
I mean, if you haven't heard propaganda, that's exactly what propaganda is. It is not a steel wall. It's literally just some ships in the ocean. Some of them are made of steel, but it's not a steel wall. But it's illustrative language.
Her last position reported was 72 days ago, so she's obviously hiding from something. She has her AIS off. So
yeah. All right. Let's go on to the next one here. Wrapping up. I think we got a couple more here, and then we'll say goodbye to you guys. Saudi Arabia is now plotting.
Scott, I think you missed a quick point on that last one, which was this picture of the IRGC Air Defense Unit.
God, I love the fact I have access to AI.
No offense, that could probably take down an F-35.
You've heard of David's sling.
Exactly right.
Jim tells you as a member comment.
Let's see, where are we at? All right, here we go. Jim Satala, member for 20 months. Good morning, friends. All those things that are happening around the world only confirm the obvious. There is war coming and nobody will be safe. Yeah. So
open war is upon you, whether you would risk it or not.
So, Joe, it's almost like somebody's been talking about the new global war will be a series of regional wars.
A collection of regional wars and civil wars. That guy is pretty wise, whoever that was. It seems like a guy who'd be wise enough to detect a vast and grand conspiracy involving his shorts.
Clearly, his intelligence apparatus failed him.
All right. So here's this next story, and this is kind of like, this is the kind of take it with a grain of salt. This next story, watcher, just right here, the Saudi Arabia one.
Yep,
I've got highlighted. Yep. Saudi Arabia is now plotting an offensive against Iran-backed Houthis. We've been talking about this since last week. They are sick of the Houthis. They are done with the Houthis. I think this is them clearing out the cockroaches on the Arabian Peninsula.
Their lead singer tried to do a solo country album. They've just gone right down the drain.
Let's watch the video. See what they say.
assets in the area, but they hit Egypt. You know that they rocketed Saudi Arabia, Aramco, through their Iraqi militias, and we know they told the Houthis to try to shut down the Red Sea. What maybe they didn't predict is Saudi Arabia held a meeting of regional powers, at which time they pretty much came to an agreement. We must work together to open up the strait ourselves. So Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Egypt, Kuwait, Bahrain, all sent people together to try to get a coalition. What's the problem? Not us. It is Iran. So this is, even though in one way you could say, wow, man, the war is expanding, in a way. But also it is galvanizing. It is galvanizing who the problem is. And to tell you what Iran wants to do, they want us out of the region. Do you know their foreign minister contacted Bulgaria yesterday to try to convince them to stop letting us use our own bases? And they did it to Britain because they said, if you let the U.S. use your bases, we're going to target you. So meanwhile, it's getting everybody that was on the sideline, they're forced to get into the game.
Well, I do think one of the frustrations for people who are very concerned about getting into another one of these wars is that of late we've seen.
All right. So, essentially what you've got is Saudi Arabia is sick and tired of getting like kicked in Djibouti, right? It's from the Djibouti region of the Arabian Peninsula.
A certain person has been saying this.
Is Djibouti was invited into this maritime defensive coalition. They don't even protect their own port. The French do, but that's okay. They're getting Djibouti involved.
That's right.
I just want to say before we move on, a certain person has been saying that this is a thing that could totally happen and got laughed off ever since they imported a bunch of Pakistanis to guard their own bases. I'm just saying, I called this one.
There's probably a joke somewhere too that Djibouti runs directly underneath the Red Sea.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, Djibouti points right at Yemen, or maybe Yemen are pointing right at Djibouti. I don't know. Anyway, Jim, please say something really smart about this whole Saudi Arabia thing, because I can't imagine that they're going to take it anymore.
No, so we talked about this a lot over the last year. There isn't the Arabs have to pick up the responsibility. So I think two of the tells, the Yemen thing, USAID and our government and the Europeans forced the Saudis out of Yemen. The Saudis were engaged in Yemen for a long time. It was really kind of foolish for us to force them to play nice with Yemen. Yeah. It created the problem, perpetuated the problem, and it all rotated around a single tanker they controlled that everybody would say, "Oh my God, the environmental concern." So the Houthis were threatening to blow up this tanker for a decade, and it just drifted off of Yemen. So we called the Saudis off. So the Saudis have a right to be very angry with Europe and the U.S. on this one. What I'm watching for is a commitment of ground troops by the Saudis and others to seize the islands in the Gulf. So Tunub and the other small islands that are being used by the Iranians for surveillance and used to be strike, but they don't have that capacity anymore. The Saudis and the Emiratis need to take the islands. And I'm not talking about the big ones, right? I'm talking about all the small ones. And it needs to be an in-your-face on the Iranians of, we're just going to do this. And they don't even have to station troops there. They just need to clear the Iranians out. And that territorial imperative needs to be shown. Yemen's a different animal because it's got that common border with the Saudis. Yep. The attack on the oil assets in the Red Sea show that the Saudis were smart to do that, but they were really stupid to listen to us about Yemen. It was positioned by the U.S. as an environmental thing. It was positioned by the U.S. as a human rights thing. The Saudis could do no right, and they tried. Mm-hmm. And we piled on them for years to get out of Yemen and leave Yemen alone, let it sort its own national pathway out. We now know that the Iranians were at play in the background, and the Iranians were messaging and paying for messaging, the Chinese were paying for messaging. There's just a lot of strategy behind keeping the Arab nations from coalescing to do military things. It saves the US too much money. So we're at the point now where they need to coalesce them, support the constellation that that the Saudis can bring to bear in the Gulf, and then help them do these hard things like take territory. And the territory could historically be argued about, much like what's going on in Spain, much like, I mean, you're seeing it everywhere now. Everybody's questioning territorial accession. It's South China Sea. So countries are beginning to say, hey, if it suits us, let's just go do it now. And that theme is out there. It's in the wild. So anybody can pick the theme up and apply it to their various things. I mean, Argentina and the UK, they'll get into that. It'll go everywhere. And what happened in Morocco is just another extension of the United States having one guy, Rubin, go out, put a paper out, and they looked at the paper and said, hey, Washington's on board with us doing this, right? So we're creating this instability to reposition ourselves. That's my take. And it's going to be a little Wild West on all these things. Global.
You know, a country that is actually positioned very nicely to help Saudi Arabia if they choose to against Yemen would be Egypt.
Absolutely. They've got the bodies, and they've been there before. They were there in the 60s.
And they were there that's exactly right. They were there in the 60s. And if they're able to kind of, bridge the gap between UAE and the Saudis, who have actually fought each other in the region recently, I think basically that would give you the coalition you need to finally kick the Houthis out of their piece of Yemen.
I want to point out that everything was fine in Aden until the British left.
But isn't it that way in so many places in the world?
No, I just remember the campaign against the Saudis that was being fought by money in the US media and the European media. And it was such BS. It's like, oh, well, they bombed these poor Houthis. And it's like, I'm sorry. We've been having trouble with the Houthis for, going on 60 years. Jesus, Chet Nagel fought the damn Houthis, right? So we're talking way back machine.
Yeah.
They're a pain in the ass. They are a mercenary tribe that people pay to go cause trouble.
Yeah, that's actually a great point. I mean, I remember talking to a former Delta operator back in the early 2000s, and he said, "Yeah, I can tell you one of the hairiest places I ever was a mountain pass in the middle of Yemen." I was like, "Huh, I didn't know we had a whole lot to do with it, Yemen." But yep, we sure have.
No, it's one of those. It's one of those just crazy places that comes out of the Star Wars movies, man, and it's been that way forever.
Yeah, well, they have their own sand people. So, all right, this next one is one of those kind of like take it with a grain of salt stories, because I'd be interested to hear what Blaine and Jim have to say about this next one. Watch if you could bring up the one that starts with the United Arab Emirates have just invaded Iran.
Reporting from the Wall Street Journal that forces from the United Arab Emirates are carrying out military strikes inside Iran. Fox is told that the UAE forces are directly engaged inside the Islamic Republic and have been for several days. This comes after Iran launched dozens of missiles and drones at the UAE during the conflict.
So yeah, super short report. Not a lot of details. I mean, I just get you guys. Blaine, what's your take on this? I'm not quite sure what to make of it.
Here's the deal. I think everybody is tired of Iran's bullshit, and we have degraded them to the point where it's just a paper bag over there. And so it won't surprise me that you're not going to find out that these operations have really been going on until they're done. And it's going to be, by the way, these islands and parts of the coast have been completely seized by these countries, and they now are in position to control them. Because, Iran literally can't coordinate amongst itself. No one person is really in charge over there. The IDRC is doing its thing all on its own, and the negotiators are doing their own thing. It doesn't work. I think Saudi Arabia is going to make a major move on Yemen, and I think they're also done with the bullshit of Iran just driving, making an unstable environment for them to operate their businesses in. And in that part of the world, it's all about the business. It's about the business and it's about the religion. And both of those things are against Iran. So I'm not surprised that when I saw this on Fox, I wasn't surprised at all. I was surprised that it was leaking out before they said, by the way, they've already seized the following ports.
Yeah.
I'm doing a victory lap. I'm sorry. I've been saying that this is what was going to happen ever since the first ceasefire started. And I almost guarantee you that when everybody was going, what are we all waiting for? What is everybody waiting for? What's happening? Why aren't we hitting them? The answer is because we were waiting for Arabs to argue who gets to keep what and who does what.
Yeah. So many of these islands, I think, Jim, you pointed this out a while back. Many of these islands actually in this area were UAE possessions that were then seized by the Iranians many moons ago. And so it'd be interesting to see if this is kind of what they're talking about here. The UAE is finally acting with its Colombian mercenaries to take back some of these islands.
If they took them, what could you do? Because it's not like they can say, well, let's load up a bunch of guys in boats and go, because there are no more boats and there are no more guys.
Yeah, and there are A-10s and Apaches and things like that flying around that would be more than happy to stop them from coming across the water. Yeah.
You see, the argument about Iranian strike capacity on these locations, it's like, okay, maybe there was. So that's why you just go sweep them and then leave them empty. Put surveillance packages on them, and anybody begins to go play there, you kill them. So it's taking these assets from the Iranians now is an important escalatory step by the locals. And it's the part, I mean, I think Watcher's right. I think there was this fighting among the clans, right? So all the GCC members have been going, well, you do it. No, you do it. You do it. Well, we'll do it. Well, no, if we do it, then I have to be in charge. If you do it, then you have to be in charge. And who's going to pay, right?
Yeah.
When they
went after the Aramco facilities in Yanbu, everybody then understood that something had to happen, right? Because there isn't a fallback. And that's money, as Blaine said. It's about business, right? And then it becomes about religion. So the religious discussion is now Sunni, and boy, the Shias are being nuts, and we got to go deal with them. And we've seen this picture before. And so they're fairly responsible people, the families that run these places. They're sitting with each other. They're figuring it out. It takes a while. It takes a lot of tea. And at some point, they will begin to seize territory. The thing with Yemen was to get the Saudis focused away from the north and onto their southern border. That's been done. So this means that the Emiratis have to do what the Emiratis have been outed for doing in the last 48 to 72 hours. Question is, will the Emiratis have the ability to take the islands, clean them off, and then figure out a way to secure them? It's up to them. I hope so, because Trump shouldn't do it. We shouldn't be landing Marines on little islands in the Gulf. That's a bad idea right now. This needs to be shared risk. And, people have got to start enforcing shared risk.
Yeah. And until they're ready to go beyond commando raids and things like that, I don't think it really matters. All right, this next one. Okay, so you gotta like address the community note. It says here the video purported to show Ukrainian soldiers threatening Iranian ships is fake, as confirmed by Ukraine's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Of course, they would claim it's fake, because if these are just 3 Ukrainian dudes in a woods that made a claim, right? I mean, but these are still Ukrainians want to hit Iran. And I think the Iranian ships getting blown up in the Caspian Sea speak much louder than these three chuckleheads in the woods in Ukraine. It says here, a Ukrainian soldier threatens to burn more Iranian linked ships and vows Ukraine and its American allies will keep fighting Tehran. He ends with glory to Ukraine and death to Iran.
Well, the community note points out that this is fake anyway.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's like, of course it's fake because, you know, the actual Ministry of Defense or Ministry of Foreign Affairs didn't make it. But some Ukrainian guys did. And so this just, I get the feeling that that Ukraine doesn't always have full control over everything that happens with its military forces. But
well, no, but I mean, these guys are probably in Ontario or Belgium, for God's sakes, right?
Right.
You know, they're software programmers by day, and they do this cosplay thing once in a while. I mean, this nonsense is it's so overwhelming in its volume.
Yeah.
And people are ill-disciplined. They read a lot of this stuff and go, "Oh my God," you know.
Well, I think it's worth noting, but I think there is definitely an undertone of, you know, to the extent Russia is dealing with Iran, Ukraine is interested in hurting Russia, right? And they don't care if they also hurt Iran in that. Everybody has to realize that Ukraine is very focused on Russia. But they will go. They will. We've seen in Africa, they will follow Russians anywhere in the world just to cause trouble for Russia.
It's Domestic Friday. The part that's funny is this has left all the members of Congress who are Democrats confused as to what to root for at this point, because they're like, I'm pro Ukraine, but I want to hate Trump, so I'm pro-Iran.
Right.
But I can't figure that out. And then the Houthis are there. Where do I stand on the Houthis?
Yeah.
Well, 90% of the planet doesn't know who the Houthis are. They forgot from 5 years ago when this was the cause celeb for all the feel-good people in Washington and Europe. Right?
Much like Dean's sitting there flipping through his flags, going, "I got a Venezuelan flag, a Cuban flag. Where's my Houthi flag, and where is Houthi?"
Well,
Houthi
I think they said, when did that band from the 90s become a terrorist group? I didn't. The Houthis,
Houthis and the blowhard,
Houthis and the blow ships. Wait, that sounds like something out of Djibouti. Never mind.
And the bluefish. All right. Let's. This is the last one. I think this is prescient because this is something that U.S. soldiers have to deal with, but we all have to deal with this. This is this is kind of a double whammy, a reminder of OPSEC in war zones, but also OPSEC in your own hometown and where you are.
I have different links. Let me.
No, it's the
let me
bottom
grab the right one. Yep.
Just the last one here.
Sharing it. Second.
All right. Breaking. American troops are about to lose their cell phones because Iran is watching every video they post. CENTCOM's top commander dropped a bombshell. A single viral video of U.S. soldiers sprinting for cover during an Iranian strike gave Tehran a free real-time map of our bases. Because not only do those have, you know, the video, but it also has the metadata, which tends to show exactly the location of the phone when it's videotaped. So that's great BDA, by the way. Now Iran can see exactly where our people are hiding and adjust the next missiles accordingly. Admiral Cooper warned the cost could be measured in American lives. Some troops in the Middle East may soon be ordered to hand over their phones completely. One post, one video, and the enemy gets the intel. They need to kill more of our soldiers. This is the new battlefield, and our social media is a weapon being used against us. So this is nothing new. I mean, we had to stop using like Fitbits and things like that overseas because the run routes that people would do with their Garmin smartwatch was mapping the locations. And in some cases, it was mapping locations where we had no documented bases, i.e., undisclosed locations. So cell phones and these smart devices that report their information directly to the web are absolutely a threat to OPSEC. This is not new information. It's just us having to relearn old lessons. So
I don't understand why we allow it in the first place, but
same.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, like when we were in Afghanistan, you couldn't bring a cell phone from the U.S.
Like that was flat out the law. Like you could not bring a cell phone on deployment. That's why guys were so hip on the action cam things, if you remember, because they wanted to record stuff, and they didn't. All of a sudden, they didn't have their main method of recording things, their camera phone.
Right.
Well, GoPros were good because GoPro basically didn't connect to the internet back
Exactly.
then. But and you had to buy the cell phones in country. And those were allowed, but those were almost entirely flip phones, and they were all on they were all on the local cell phone network. So it was kind of hard to you basically hid in the local noise.
Remind me, that's a great quote. Used to be loose lips sink ships. Now loose chips sink ships. That's
that's not bad.
Well, and let's be honest, another portion of this is that for whatever reason, like, I'm sorry, pretend you have your cell phone there, right? Like, this isn't just having their cell phone and Iran hacking us, which I'm sure they have some of that as well, and that's not being talked about out loud. This is guys going, hey, I just got rocketed. Quick, let me upload that battle damage assessment directly to the internet on my public-facing profile where I state that I'm a U.S. soldier.
Yeah, well, I think most of that has been contractors doing it, but ultimately it's the same effect, right?
Yep.
I'm going to go, and I'll make this statement because there's a lot of cyber rumors floating around about Minnesota and water plants and stuff. Look, I don't buy any of it, and I'll tell you why. I think that what we've seen is Iran's capabilities. If they had the capability of doing that kind of level of cyber stuff, they would. In terms of this, I just don't think they have the capability to do any of that crap at this point. It feels to me like this is very much a paper tiger that's been deflated. There's nothing there. They can't. They're literally every time they assemble a rocket, they fire it. If they had 300 rockets, they would have been firing them all. They don't have them. They're literally cobbling shit together from the rubble, and when they get one that they think works, putting it up in the air. That's it.
Yep. Yeah. This was
real quick. Juan Gringo for $50 over on Rumble. Thanks for the comic books, Scott. My son really likes them both. Everyone else, good morning. Great meeting you in person. Yeah, it was awesome meeting guys from the chat, and I won't lie, I definitely put my comic in your son's hand before
that was Juan Gringo that happened to. I heard this story a few times.
Absolutely. I'm glad he likes them. I mean, ultimately, they weren't designed for little kids, but man, these things are the kind of stories I think that he can appreciate now from just a cool factor. But when he gets older and he can actually digest what's going on in the story, I try not to speak, I try not to dumb anything down, but at the same time, I wanted to, like when I started reading comics back when I was in 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, like 12-year-old me. I wanted to write a comic that 12-year-old me would like, but also, a veteran from Iraq or Afghanistan, if he read it, he'd be like, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. So yeah, I'm glad he likes them. More are on the way and in development. So, so absolutely. Guys, that's all I've got. That was my last thing on the notes. Anything else you guys want to hit on before we say adios?
Joe did a great job. Camp Ponderosa.
Man, it was such a great time.
Can't say more about that. I mean, everybody's chatting on it, but a lot of work, and the team did a hell of a lot of work out there. I got to watch them do the work.
Yeah, without your expert supervision, I don't think I could have done it.
No, exactly. So second,
Jim, we missed you on Saturday. I'm just gonna.
I know. I had to prepare a meal here for guests. Second thing is this cell phone thing. If you notice where the trouble is, it's in countries that have Chinese intrusion into their 5G network. So reason why you don't let China into your 5G network is because then you have a second path of vulnerability. My second observation would be, I can't wait for the U.S. government to begin issuing pagers to their troops. And I think the troops would embrace the pagers at this point, Roger, right? Would you feel good?
Well, maybe not embrace
So I want to see the Baofeng USG green pagers get deployed, and I think it would be a good. I think it would be a good gag to just make the Baofeng green USG pagers and just put fake ones on the market. So yeah, we're at a point where all the arguments about global wireless networks are critical. And just watch the satellite industry, because the satellite industry will make all the money on the collection of data and secure networks, and then the uplinking of secure data without having to touch the local economy. And it was the intrusion of the local economy that really puts everything at risk. So just a quick observation.
Let's see.
Lonnie said that she was sad she was out of the camp while you were there, Jim. So maybe next time. But Lami was there when I almost died in the camp, when that dude came up and grabbed me by the arm and I inhaled a rather large quantity of whiskey and almost died. That was cool.
Yeah, that'll do it. Malort is even faster. So
I just want to say, if you're in the chat and you were out at Camp Ponderosa, or if you hear this later and you were at Camp Ponderosa for the event, if you would send Joe your recommendations for what went good and what went, maybe could have gone better. Any kind of, like, right now is the time to
let's fill Joe's inbox. Great idea.
Well, I mean,
it's not.
If you don't want the feedback, I mean, I could rescind my. I think it was a great event, but if anybody saw something, I think I would want to know, and I know Joe really does want to know.
Oh, believe me, if somebody had a problem, they told me.
You had plenty of problems, but the sad thing is, Joe, what you thought was a problem, what somebody else thought was a problem, tended to be different things.
Most people thought them not getting everything for free was a problem. That's kind of not how
that was. That was definitely an issue.
Just want to say real quick before we leave, Rob Malort, this is also an issue that Malort fixes. It cures you from wanting to inhale anything in large doses.
No, we did spread a little Malort by the sword, though. That went.
Now let's go around the horn as we want to do. Joe, looking in your crystal ball for the weekend, what do you got?
I think that there will be more. There will be a lot more conflict between the U.S. and Iran, and at some point, we're going to have to tell the Chinese that it's time for them to stop. Much in the way that the Russians have tried to tell us the same thing in Ukraine, but something needs to happen there. There's going to be a lot more fighting before this is done, a lot more casualties on both sides. We've been very, very lucky on casualties in this conflict. Way luckier than I thought we would have been. So I'd watch for something along those lines.
Yeah. Blaine?
It's Friday, so there's always going to be some sort of bombshell of some sort announced. They always do that on Fridays. Yeah. I think, military operations are going to step up again in Iran. It's not coming together. And I think we're at a point now where we're going to start blowing up power plants, bridges, water systems, etc. And, we'll turn it into the parking lot it is so richly deserved. In terms of domestic stuff, I am enjoying that the candidate they've picked in Maine, the Democrats, Turns out that he didn't marry his cousin, but he's had children with his cousin. So it's like they literally, it's like the level of vetting that they do is amazingly shallow.
If they do any vetting at all, yeah, good one, Blaine. Jim, what's residing in your crystal ball today?
I think we're missing the whole boat on these candidates because these attributes are required to be DSA members. Right? You've got to have this kind of, I'll sleep with anything, and there are no rules, and rules are bad, and cultural mores are terrible. So I think we'll see more of that. But in the Middle East, I do think Blaine's right. I think you're going to see asset seizure. I think you're going to see islands and territory taken. And I think the Houthis are done this time. And I think most of the Arab countries will turn on them and kill them en masse. And there will be outcry. Watch, it'll take a matter of 5 to 10 days. There will be nonprofits in Europe and people here in the United States talking about how horrible it is. And the same people who are reporting on Gaza, oh, the Israelis dropped a bomb on this tent and killed 10 people. They'll be doing the same thing in Yemen. So just brace for the same bullshit, just different location.
Well said. Watcher?
Yeah, I think the exact same thing is true. I think the Houthis are going to be an hors d'oeuvre. I think that's going to happen quick, fast, and in a hurry, and I think it's probably going to happen within maybe the next week, maybe even just the next couple days. I think that why we are hearing about Gulf partners making operations on the ground in Iran is, again, because it's probably been happening for more than a little while now. It's probably about to step up in intensity pretty significantly. My assumption is that the ultimate goal here is, okay, if Iran is not going to allow ships to pass through their waters peacefully, and the people are not going to be induced to rise up and overthrow that government, then the waters will no longer allowed to be Iranian, and Iran will cease to be a Gulf nation.
So my kind of look into the crystal ball and goes back to Spain with the migrant invasion. So in recent weeks, we've had a lot of kind of popular calls for Vox to have increased power within the government. That is a big threat to the current regime of the Marxist, was it Sanchez that's in there right now? And so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. That was before all of this migrant invasion over the last 2 days. So it'll be interesting to see how many regular people see this and say, what the fuck are we doing? And start, calling for Vox and other right of center parties to, basically protect Spanish people against foreign invaders. I don't know if it's likely to happen. I'm just saying I think you'll see a rise in that, and potentially you'll see more power accrue to Vox in the coming days. All right, that's all I got. Thank you, guys. Thank you, gentlemen. Joe, Blaine, Jim, Watcher. Appreciate you guys for being here. Chat, you guys were killing it. If you haven't done already, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications. Let everybody know you're getting some good stuff over here on the Council for Future Conflict. We will be back on Monday, same time, same channel. Until then, stay safe.